Mr. Chairman, I just want to clarify a couple of facts that were asked. We were discussing outside agency involvement under the authority of the chief. He has the ability to request an investigation if he feels a crime occurred and involve any outside agencies to do so. Discussing the facts, I think that one of the issues that were brought up by the commissioner is that because we don't have all the parties involved, we're unable to determine what occurred and what didn't occur. I wanted to give the opportunity for Diana, who wanted to clarify some things to the commissioners, if you allow that.
Yes, ma'am.
Diana Gomez, Finance Director. The payment in question was requested by the city manager through the CFO. The city manager was not available that day in the city building in order to sign off on the documentation. However, the CFO, when he came to speak with me, was speaking with the city manager, and I was privy to that conversation, so it was very clear that the city manager knew what was happening and that the check was going to be issued. Additionally, I was told by the CFO that they had already spoken with the city attorney's office and a representative of HR, and was told that that the city manager did have the authority, since this was a severance-type settlement, to execute this payment without further commission action. The idea was that they were going to negotiate that evening and wanted the check issued in order to be able to take the settlement and show good faith to the chief that they were in fact going to negotiate his departure, is what I was told. The settlement agreement would have been signed that evening and then executed by the city manager that evening had the negotiations been successful. This is the information that I have. I was not privy to the negotiations nor some of the other meetings, but this is the information that was portrayed to me, is what gave me the comfort to issue the check on the city manager's authority.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Two things, two separate. And the first thing, the city manager, assistant city manager, deputy city manager, I'm not sure your title right now, Mr. Cabrera, mentioned was with regards to the police chief being allowed to request for an investigation. So I see Major Alvarez, if it's okay with my colleagues, and I don't want to turn this into a circus, I would like to at the very least know if there's an ongoing investigation or not. That's number one. Number two, with what Ms. Gomez is stating, we are now borderline in starting this investigation ourselves. So I'm refraining from asking her additional questions, asking the city attorney, who in the city attorney's office, and all that, because it's one of those, they're putting the bait, and I kind of want to go for it because I truly believe that an outside agency is going to investigate this. And like you said, all the parties are not present, and there's a lot of hearsay back and forth right now. So I really am not going to ask Ms. Gomez any follow-up questions and so forth, because I really believe that an outside agency should do the investigation and should really determine what's going on, who they should question, who they should subpoena, should it get to that point, and so forth. With that said,
I have to say something.
With that said, I want to know how my colleagues feel about asking either Chief Blum, Major Alvarez, or anyone from the police department that could answer the question with regards to if an investigation is actually occurring or not.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, before we get to that, I think there's two separate things going on here. I think what we're trying, at least what I was trying to identify, was from a financial controls perspective, how does a check get issued without it fitting the construct of what is allowable under the law, under the statutes? How does a check that's supposed to be a settlement check or severance check, and you're getting into these? So I think what I'm getting at is, and this kind of taking it a couple of steps back when we talked about another issue, is that we gotta do things formally in the city of Miami. And that goes back to the resolution that we have on the manager putting in writing any departures from
Exactly.
the APM. You know, things have to be done formally here. Okay, they cannot be done on a whim, because then what happens is it becomes a he said, she said contest. I was in the bathroom, I didn't know what was going on. You know, he said this, that's not what I heard something else. Things have to be done formally, particularly when you're talking about this kind of money. This is a lot of money, you know?
I agree with you 100%, and that's why I don't want to do the follow-up questions now and so forth, because we get into that he said, she said, you know, the city attorney's office said this, and realistically, that's why when I started speaking about this, realistically, what I presented was all the physical evidence. What we have a request that is written, or the name of the city manager is there, or the former city manager, Tony Krapp. However, it is signed all by the same person. Yes, Commissioner Sarnoff, you're exactly correct about segregation of duties. And here, realistically, as far as physical evidence, no, we don't have, you know, the city manager actually, you know, with any physical evidence, you know, as far as written signature. And to be honest with you, even if we did, it's not his purview. It's actually the city attorney's office. So even if we did, but like we're saying, we're going to this hearsay now where I spoke to him and the city attorney said okay and so forth. And I just, you know what, I really think that it should be investigated from an outside agency. I think that we should ask, since they're present, if it's being investigated, and go from there. Because once again, I'm a commissioner. I'm not an investigator anymore.
Mr. Vice Chairman, may I ask that we don't proceed in that manner, because
The only question is asked that the Vice Chairman wants to ask, is there an investigation taking place? That's all.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I cannot answer if there is an investigation or not,
Please,
but
the title.
Alfredo Alvarez, I'm a major, City of Miami Police Department, Commander of the Internal Affairs Public Corruption Unit. I cannot answer if there is an ongoing investigation or not. I cannot talk about any agency that would or would not be doing an investigation. What I can clearly say is, as soon as the chief was contacted about the meetings and the offer, we went to an investigating authority, because the chief never had intention of taking the offer. We were working under the protocol of that investigative authority, and we cannot discuss anything else beyond that. Okay. But yes, we did reach out to an investigative authority prior to the meetings. We participated in the meetings following their protocol, and that's all I can say at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.